Picture this. You're driving home from work, it's raining, traffic's backed up, and out of nowhere the car in front of you slams on the brakes. You stomp on yours, and for a split second nothing happens. That's not a horror movie. That's what can actually happen when you're running the cheapest brake pads you could find at the parts store. And mechanics see it happen way more often than you'd think. Warped rotors in a few thousand miles, squealing so bad your neighbors think you're murdering a cat every time you pull into the driveway. And in the worst cases, stopping distances that are genuinely terrifying in an emergency. Today, we're breaking down exactly why some of those bargain bin brake pads sitting right there on the shelf are quietly costing you way more than you think, and exactly how to spot the difference before you ever hand over your money. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're gonna look at that brake pad aisle completely differently. So here's the thing nobody tells you when you walk into a parts store looking for brakes. Not all pads are created equal. Even if the box looks almost identical, and the price tag is the only thing separating them. I've talked to techs who've had the exact same customer come back 3 times in 1 year for brake work, same car, same driving habits. Nothing changed except they kept grabbing whatever was cheapest off the shelf. And when it comes to those ultra-budget economy pads, the kind priced to move, not built to perform, there are basically 3 big red flags mechanics keep warning people about, over and over again. Red flag number 1, the friction material itself. A lot of these ultra-cheap pads are made from a low-grade, low metallic or resin-based compound that's engineered to hit a price point, not a performance point. And what that means in the real world is inconsistent bite. Cold, they can feel mushy, almost like you're pressing into a sponge instead of stopping a 2-ton vehicle. Then once they heat up, think highway descents, stop and go traffic. Riding the brakes down a long grade, some of these compounds actually lose stopping power right when you need it most. That's called brake fade, and it is not something you want to discover for the first time on a mountain road with your family in the car. Red flag number 2, no chamfers, no slots, and barely any shims. I know that sounds like technical jargon, so let's make it simple. Chamfers are those little angled cuts on the edge of a brake pad, and slots are the grooves cut into the face of it. Together, they do 2 big jobs. They let gas and heat escape during hard braking, and they help stop that awful high-pitched squeal you hear coming from cars running cheap pads. Ever been at a red light and heard that ear-splitting screech from the car next to you before it even moves? 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what's happening under the hood. Budget pads skip these features to save on manufacturing costs. And that missing shim, the thin rubber metal layer bonded to the back of the pad, that's what dampens vibration. Without it, you get noise. And over time, that vibration actually accelerates wear on your calipers too. And red flag number 3, the one that genuinely keeps mechanics up at night: inconsistent quality control. This is huge, and it's the one most people never even think about. With bargain pads, especially unbranded or barely branded economy lines, batch quality can vary wildly. One box might perform just fine. The next box, same shelf, same price, same brand even, could have thickness inconsistencies or curing issues in the friction material that lead to premature wear or uneven contact with the rotor. That unevenness is exactly what starts eating away at your rotors way faster than it should, and suddenly that budget-friendly brake job just turned into a full brake job redo, rotors included, a few months down the road. Now here's where it gets real for your wallet, and this is the part that really stings once you see it laid out. Let's say you go the ultra-cheap route to save maybe $20-30 up front. Feels smart in the moment, right? But if those pads chew through a set of rotors in under a year instead of the 2 to 3 years you'd normally expect, you're not actually saving money, you're just paying it later, with interest, in the form of a machine shop bill or a full rotor replacement. Mechanics see this cycle constantly, customers rolling in every 6 to 9 months for brake work, over and over, because they keep reaching for the cheapest pad on the shelf when spending a little more on a solid mid-tier ceramic or semi-metallic pad the first time around would have solved the whole problem for years. So what should you actually be looking for instead? A few quick things that make all the difference. First, check whether the pad is manufactured to an O matching or OE plus standard. A lot of reputable brands will actually print that right on the box, so it's not hard to spot once you know to look. Second, go with ceramic or a quality semi-metallic blend depending on how you drive. Ceramic's fantastic for daily drivers who want low dust and quiet, confident stops, while semi-metallic is better if you're towing, hauling, or driving something heavier that needs more aggressive bite. Third, and this is the one almost everybody skips, actually pick up the box and look at the pad if you can. Quality pads have those chamfered edges, clearly defined slots, and a solid shim-bonded flush to the back, not just glued on looking like an afterthought. And fourth, don't be afraid to ask whoever's behind the counter which pad they'd put on their own car. Most parts store employees who've been around a while will steer you straight if you just ask directly, instead of grabbing whatever's cheapest and walking out the door. Here's another pro tip: a lot of experienced techs swear by buy your pads and rotors together as a matched set whenever you can. Mixing a brand new premium pad with an old, worn, or glazed rotor is one of the most common reasons people come back complaining about squealing or pulsation, even after spending good money on quality pads. The pad and rotor need to break in together as a team. Resurfacing or replacing the rotors alongside new pads gives that new friction material a clean, flat surface to properly bed in on. So next time you're standing in that aisle staring at 3 different boxes with 3 different prices, remember what's actually inside them. It's not just a piece of friction material, it's what stands between you and the car in front of you. If this video just saved you from making a mistake at the parts store counter, do me a favor and smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel keep making content like this. Drop a comment and let me know what pads you're currently running. I read every single one. And if you actually want to know which brake pad brands mechanics do recommend and trust, I've got a follow-up video linked right here that breaks it all down for you. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll catch you in the next one, right here on Infinite Garage.